Peace, 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 blessings, prosperity, and nothing but advancement and love to all, man. This medicine man once again. Um, I'm gonna take some time out to let some people get join this live, man. We're gonna have a very interesting conversation in this live. Um, it's gonna be interesting. So join in, share the live if you can. Um, tell a friend to tell a friend. Because we're going to have a very interesting conversation in this live about a lot of things about life, the energy of life, true narrations, true stories, the origin story of what made the medicine man. I don't want to sound like toxic by saying that. Seriously, don't. But I definitely want to be able to elaborate on some things as we go and move forward in this live, just to try to bring clarity. I think for the most part, there is a need for resolutions to ideas and perceptions. There's a need for life to be understood from the aspect of growth and development and not childish nonsense behavior. So it's very important that we build an idea and understanding on what would work for building a better world, building a better world. Because when we try to build a better world, what we end up doing obviously is not understanding the dynamics of the world as far as the many people inside of this world, and that there are different realms. There are different realms. And so when I speak about realms, meaning that there are different environments, there are different socio-economic environments, there are different environments where there are harsher realities than others. There are environments where there is peace and prosperity in those environments. And there is environments that are consumed in darkness. Okay. In previous videos, I elaborated, truth be told, in previous videos, I elaborated on certain aspects of my development as a person, as a human being. And I wanted to because I'm a transparent person. Let me tell you something. I have a reputation of being an open book. I've just never been an open book over social media in front of a bunch of strangers and things like that. Because I think that overexposure could hurt, but transparency does help. To get an understanding on who you are. I see there's a lot of conversations that people say, well, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Just in general. And so I would like to elaborate on a lot of that. You know what I mean? I definitely would like to elaborate on that. I would like to elaborate on who I am, the origin stories. Where did it all come from? What made the medicine man and my swamp water roots movement? It's not a cult. Don't get it twisted. It's not a cult. It's a philosophical movement about understanding the power of root work and hoodoo and aboriginal spirituality. As we evolve into higher understandings of life, who we are as people, as human beings, one of the main things that I like to really that I engage in is the whole idea about helping people. I think that sometimes when people come from different environments, they have different mentalities. Some people don't want to help nobody. They don't want to help a soul. And then there's others that build their life off of their experiences. You know, these people have certain experiences and they're like, man, wow, I would never want anybody to go through the type of things that I went through. So I'm going to share my experiences with others in hopes that they can learn from any mistakes I may have made in the past. And I took it and I philosophized it into what I do in my root work. My root work is more about teaching people how to navigate life versus having an understanding of rituals and spells and stuff like that, man. Because that's, you know, rituals and spells is, when it comes to life and your connection to the Most High, it's minute. Because once you connect on a higher level, you be connected to the Most High and you don't have to worry about doing rituals and spells and stuff like that. But that's not why I'm here. Absolutely not why I'm here. The reason why I'm here today is to talk about a lot of situations that has been transpiring, of course, smear campaigns and whatnot, and the origin stories. This is what this is. This is the origin story. What are the ingredients? What is the secret sauce, man, that made Medicine Man? I originally, you know, back in 1976, you know what I mean? I came into this world, of course. One of the things that I teach people, or I try to, you know, teach from my experience, is that I mentioned in an earlier video about Planned Parenthood and things like that. You know, that's important, man, because a lot of times people be out there having children when they're having fun. And as a result, they don't step into that parental role. And so, but there are so many different karmic elements involved in it. Some of the karmic elements is that, man, the Most High can choose you to come into this world through a family that's karmic. You know, through a family that's totally, absolutely karmic. We all learning. Yeah, man. We all are learning. And so as we continue to learn, you know, we start to learn that, hey, man, like, this family is kind of, the energy of it is kind of weird or strange. And so we get into it and we realize that maybe perhaps this family isn't my family, you know, because love is the binding principle of being in a family. You know, that's like the principle. Why have a family if there's no love in there? You know what I mean? And so what we end up doing is we're part of karmic families. Many of us were part of karmic families. I remember the story like about DMX, man. DMX spoke about, you know, his abuse as a child and stuff like that. And you know, we have a lot of conversations going on about childhood trauma and stuff like that. You know, I'm not afraid to speak on them things. I'm not afraid to speak on setups, ambushes, and things like that either. Nor am I afraid to speak about the exploitation, the absolute exploitation that happens in Black communities. That's why I made that song when I said Black trauma is hilarious, because there is an element in the Black community, honestly, that takes particular people's traumas, understand your family dynamics, because no one understands your family dynamics better than the people you were raised around. So they know, hey, your mother don't like you. They know, hey, your father has been absent. They know, like, your cousins are all drug addicts. They know these things. And so those are points of exploitation to toxic people inside toxic environments. Not all black communities operate on that principle, because there are some good brothers in some of these communities where if something goes wrong, those brothers, they address it immediately, and they have an open ear to hear all sides of the story. They also try to figure out ways how we can get a solution out of this. And then in other communities, you ended up having people who were never your friends. So when things go wrong, you're wrong all the time, even in the midst of a setup, even while people are trying to ambush you, even when people are trying to exploit the fact that you may have come from an extremely dysfunctional and extremely mentally ill family. And that's one of the things that I think really deters the growth of our communities, man. We allow people to exploit mentally ill people. And so when I created the Swamp Water Roots movement, and I tell you, it's not a cult. It is not a cult. I don't do that cult thing. Um, I'm more of a philosopher. I like to philosophize based on my experiences, based on the growth that I went through, in order to teach and help people understand. So if I say something you can resonate with, then that's all love. That's peace. If you can use any information I give you to help yourself grow, then that's peace. I feel like I can give you something that you can use to help yourself, then I've positively contributed to the growth of society. One of the main reasons I stand on that philosophy is because having a childhood filled with trauma. When I say filled with trauma, let me tell you a story. Hey, listen now, I want y'all to share this, because this is an honest moment. Enough for y'all to share this. This is the origin story. When you come from a family that's infused with astronomical amounts of trauma, how many of you guys out here come from families that try to kill one another? Huh? How many of y'all? Somebody raise their hand. How about you, Carter Bowler? Raise your hand. You came from a family full of people that try to kill one another, try to harm one another. No, you ain't commenting. It's okay. It's cool. Some of us come from families like that. Some of us have parents that don't like us. And so energetically, when you look at that, you be like, man, wow, what did I do? And then you look at the dynamic. See, what you have to do, you have to soul search your memory banks. Go back. Go back to when you was a child. How were you treated as a child? And your honest opinion. Did you feel loved? Did you feel abandoned? Did you feel motivated and inspired to do great things? Or was your family just a organized crime? You know what I mean? And it's not funny. And I'm trying to be very light on the jokes, because it's really not a laughing matter when we talk about coming from and evolving from dysfunction. Because black trauma is not hilarious. And that's one of the main trendy things that has happened over the internet for many years. And people don't understand that they're exploiting the vulnerabilities of themselves. When you go out there and you laugh, you make jokes and prey on other people's downfall and things like that, man, that's not cool at all. And the crazy part about it is that the people that exploit Black mental illness, the people that exploit Black trauma, they're only the ones that's hiding their traumas. I can tell you from personal experience. Most of the people that talk, and I don't listen to it, and I'm glad I haven't heard anything. I'm glad. Ooh, Lord, I'm glad. But what I've realized from experience is that most people that like to exploit other people's pain, most people that do that, they were touched as children, they were abandoned, and as a result, they developed this mind state. I guess neurologically, their nervous system and their brain is wired to mirror what they're going through, in a form of laughter. You see what I'm saying? How many of us have seen people laugh at other people's trauma, knowing that they came from similar experiences? It's a way of hiding what they're going through, so they project it on you. That's the truth. I'm telling you. For example, in the past life, there were situations where, I'm from the streets, and I don't claim it. I am not proud of that at all. I'll be the first to tell you. If I had the opportunity to turn back the hands of time, I'd be a marine biologist. Seriously, I'd be a marine biologist. Because anybody that knows me personally, they know that I love science and I love to read books, and I got books all over the place, man. I got books right here. I got a book here. I got my notepad, take notes out of my book. I got 4 more books over there. I like to read. I like to educate my mind, because educating your mind is important when you get into the process of rewiring your central nervous system. You have to rewire yourself. And so when we come from environments that don't feed the rewiring of our nervous system, what we obviously do is we get trapped into the loop of the cycle that's currently happening. Drugs, crime, and I'm not ashamed. I mean, I lived in the streets in my past life. Many years ago, I used to sell drugs. I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of going to prison. And this is a real conversation. And we're going to get into the magical and the energy and all of that part and the philosophy of it all. But when you're not proud of who you were, it puts you in a position to strive to become something that's 10 times better than who you were yesterday, than who you were 10 years ago. So what do? Step number 1, educate yourself. Step number 2, distance yourself from people who view your growth as a threat. Distance. If that means you got to stop talking to certain people, stop talking to them. If they say, hey, stop talking to them. You're right, Brianna. Bye. You got to stop talking to certain people that have nothing to do with your growth, man. You got to stop talking to certain people that don't want to elevate. If you've been standing on a street corner in 1992 and you done went in the Marine Corps, you done went to college, you done got engaged, married, had 2 kids, and you just come ride back to your neighborhood and the same people are still out there, they're caught in a loop. Do you want to be in that same predicament for 30, 40 years. Is that being fair to you? Are you being fair to yourself? That's the question. Are you being fair to yourself? No, you're not. You're not being fair to yourself when you do things like that. And so certain people come to a realization that, hey, this is not for me. This group of people is not for me. This environment is not for me. Somebody said something very important over social media. They say, don't go back to the people that hurt you. That's a powerful statement. What that means is you have to learn how to regulate your surroundings. That's important. I swear. Regulating your surroundings is extremely important. You have to know who to be around. And in some circumstances, when we talk about the cut them off movement, some circumstances you have to cut and distance yourself from people. And you know, one of the hardest things to do is to distance yourself from people you love. You might love your father. You have to distance yourself from him. You might love your mother. You might have to distance yourself from them, because the unhealed parent is very much a child's first enemy. There's no doubt about that, because they're not in the nurturing state. They're unhealed. And if people are not making the right moves to fix themselves and heal themselves, they're not going to raise healed children. One of the reasons we have shooters and we have thugs and gangsters on the street, take it from me, I know. I've been there. One of the reasons we have all of these things there and elements there is because those people are the byproducts of unhealed parents. Seriously. You think the Most High give you an assignment? Hey, your assignment is to go into the world and be a gangster. Your assignment is to go into the world to be a thug. Your assignment is to go into the world and be a criminal. Those are learned conditions, learned conditionings that come from unhealed family and community dynamics. That's where it comes from. You see? So it's very important, man, for us, seriously, extremely important for us to understand the dynamics where we come from. Thugs, gangsters, they come from unhealed parents. They are the byproducts of unhealed parents. That's what happened to me in my past life. I was the byproduct of an unhealed parent. So it drove me into environments. It drove me into dealing with people, and you end up forming a circle, a committee, a crew, a posse, a gang, or whatever, of people who were all unhealed and decided to come together under some covenant that we all unhealed, and we agree that we're going to live this way. We're going to live unhealed. Unhealed living has been culturalized in the mind states of those people who accept and embrace their unhealed nature and as a way of life. At some times and some points, you know, we grow up, some of us awaken and we get out of it. And then others of us, we turn it into a way of life. And we got to ask ourselves like, man, is this real? But some people never question themselves. They never question themselves. And if you don't question yourself, you're not communicating with the Spirit of God in you, the Most High. You have to question yourself, man, why is this like this? Why is this like this? And if you don't ask yourself those questions, God won't give you those answers, because you communicate to the Most High through you. You know what I mean? Through yourself. And so growing up in extremely toxic environments is challenging. It's challenging. Nobody's perfect. And we all have done things, honestly, that we're not proud of. You know what I mean? But my main thing be sometimes like, okay, I know I've done things I'm not proud of, but don't lie on me now. Don't lie on me because I will speak the truth directly to your face, for real, in detail. I'll tell you to your face. You know what I did right, what I did wrong, where I may have made a bad decision or misjudged the situation or anything like that. Anything like that, I'll tell you to your face, to your face. And not because I'm a tough guy, like that tough guy thing. No, 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 no. No, we don't. You know, tough guys don't last long. Like for real, I'm not a tough guy, man. You know, so but one of the main things. Hold on for a second. Let me take it to where it's a better reception for me. Yeah, look at me now. Let me plug in. So you're not cool at all trying to be a tough guy, man. Because tough guys, you're not cool at all trying to be a tough guy, man. Because tough guy being, you know what I mean. And like I say, man, we have all done things that we're not proud of. You know, been through toxic situations, toxic relationships, and all of that. But I learned. That was the thing. The beautiful part about it. The most beautiful part about it is that I learned. I learned that, when I've been in those situations, that it wasn't even real. It's like a Truman Show. You know what I mean? And we know about the Truman Show, where you got nothing but actors around you. And so when I figured it all out, mainly in the middle of it, I figured it out. This is the Truman Show. Everybody is competing to get close to Medicine Man, and they're all actors. I had to help a lot of, I ended up helping and teaching a lot of actors, people who were pretending. A whole slew of them, everybody, clients, friends, they all were paid informants. All of them were paid informants, man. And so, especially from the client perspective, man, I have people call me, they'll call you, be like, hey, man, I want to get some root work done, or, I want to get some help with my problem, my issue, or can you teach me how to do this? And the whole time they were just coming just to see what I know. And the thing about it is, I would share knowledge. I share knowledge, man. You can have it. You know what I mean? The knowledge is free, but my time cost, but the knowledge is free because nobody tripping. I read a lot of books. I study. I philosophize. I meditate. I did all of the necessary things needed to educate myself. So in my environment where I came from, it was more or less like he don't talk to nobody. He don't talk to nobody. Something wrong with him. So I just don't talk to you. That's all. For real. I just don't talk to you. People who've been around me be like, man, dang, gone it, man. Medicine man, shut up. You talk too much. I talk to you because I like you. You know, I don't talk to other people. I'll be completely mute around other people because their energy, their spirit, what they're radiating is nothingness, zombieism, vampirism. So I tend not to talk to people. And people like to say, in my personal life, just say, man, he don't talk much. No, I don't. I don't. And if I don't talk much to you, that means that I don't like your energy. You know what I mean? I don't think we need to be in the same space. So I remove myself because that's what's important in your growth, to remove yourself from negative energies and vibrations and so on and so forth because they don't mean you no good. Just like I said, I had clients, I had students, and a lot of people over the years that came into my energy. They come into my energy, and I was thinking like, wow, man, are these people here to learn, or they're surveillance cameras? And I learned that relationships, friendships, clients, and this is one of the things that people do when they're watching you. When they're watching you, or have you under some kind of surveillance or whatever, so on and so forth, um, they will infiltrate your business. They'll infiltrate your business, meaning meaning that they would send fake clients with fake problems, just to be in your space, to be able to talk to you. You know, they have people, they'll send people to you with all kinds of problems. And I learned, I learned from that experience. And so, therefore, nowadays, I'm real picky and choosy about what I work with and what I don't work with, who I work with and who I don't work with. I'm just here to say this, that growth is something that's real important for everybody. And if you're the kind of person that done been through a lot for real, that you done really been through a lot, me and my own personal perspective, ain't no way in the world I would want you or anybody else to go through what I've been through. My mind can't register that. My mind can't register. I'm hurt. I'm in pain. I have to heal my wounds. I have to heal myself. So therefore, I want to put you through that same struggle. Never been like that. I never been like that. You know, I might be a little different. You know what I mean? And you can talk about preference. You can talk about phobias. You can talk about all kinds of things. I don't care about those things. Those things do not really matter to me. I judge people by their hearts, the contents of their hearts. You got a pure heart. Now, when you look at life and you say, well, there's certain things you should do and certain people and all that you stay away from. I'm a friendly person in real life. I'm friendly, I'm cool, I'm cordial. You know what I mean? And I try to put people in categories so that I can share my experiences with them. But if I can't share an experience with you or try to help you, um, like here with Marcus, you know, honestly, let me tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story, Mr. Marcus. One of the stories about preference and sexualities and stuff like that. Men and women both got masculine and female characteristics. Okay, some people have been through sexual trauma. Some people have as children. You know, I know a couple of them out here right now. You know what I mean? And I really don't care what you say. I really don't care. I wouldn't care about that. Who cares? Who cares? Like, if you the penis police, it's on you, brother. It's on you. I love women, even though I've been through some traumas. I've been through a lot of them. And I created this whole movement to heal it. To heal it, man. Not to sit around and play games. You know what I mean? Who cares? I don't care. I love women. So if you don't love women or you love being the penis police, that's on you. That's your preference, not mine. All right. But moving along, let me get this guy out of here. You just kind of, let's see, Marcus. Um. Oh man, they got all kinds of things. Let's remove that. And just 1 second, let's get Marcus out of here. I'm gonna put you in timeout, Marcus. All right, for 24 hours. Okay, Mr. Marcus. I'll put you in timeout for 24 hours. You can come back in my live tomorrow. But I say things like that for the reason like Mr. Marcus talking about. I think people try to provoke. What are you provoking? You know what I mean? There is nothing to provoke. There's absolutely nothing. And one of the things I don't talk about, like on social media, is I don't tell women what they should do. I don't tell men what they should do. I'm only here to share my experience. You know what I mean? Because there are people who have suffered from difficult levels of trauma. Difficult levels, man. You know, dealing with people who have extreme mental illnesses. Extreme. You know, some of us come from families like that. You know, there's so many people who that don't even talk to their parents anymore. And then there's other people who still loving their parents the best way they can, even though they're still subjected to so much trauma. It takes a brave heart to do that. A very brave heart to do that. Because it's so easy to walk away and say, man, I'll see you at your funeral, man. I'm out. I can't deal with it. You know, and one of the examples is like when people have like Alzheimer's. I don't know if any of you guys ever like experienced a family member who had Alzheimer's disease. Man, that is one of the worst diseases ever to deal with, man. Can you imagine walking in a room and your own parents don't even recognize you? That's a hell of a feeling right there. It really is. You know what I mean? They don't recognize you. Like, who is this person? Get this person out of here. You know what I mean? And it's hurtful. The same way it's hurtful when you have family members who are unhealed and they consistently attack you, not because they are like evil or whatnot, but it's because of their mental illness. And you try to help, but it's hard. It becomes hard. It becomes complex because you're living in a world with them where their brains are wired in a way to attack everything. Some people's brains are like that, you know? And so when you see people talking about spiritual attacks and stuff like that, their brains are wired towards, you know, fighting. And truth be told, if you like to fight a lot, that's because you've never been in a real war. And I ain't tripping on nobody, but I don't think you really been in a real war if you like to fight a lot. Because most of the people that I know seriously in real life that have been through real war, they do not like to fight. And they'll tell you, man, I avoid conflict by all means necessary. Don't want no conflicts at all. Because someone who has been through so many wars in real life, you don't want to fight no more, man. You do anything possible. Even like sacrifice yourself to keep the peace. Because that's what it is. You know, so, you know, I'm not drama filled. You know, I'm not that. I'm not dealing with drama. I don't deal with trauma. I deal with real life scenarios and growth. That's what I'm here for. I wouldn't come on social media and try to help people the best way I could and participate in drama at the same time. It just doesn't make sense the way my brain is wired. I don't want no drama at all. I stand down when it comes to stuff like that. You know what I mean? And when it comes to root work, like hoodoo, like, trust me, some of us come from environments where people practice root work, practice hoodoo, they practice witchcraft, they practice voodoo. And then secretly, they do it secretly. See what I'm saying? And then chastise everybody else who openly practices these things. You know what that's called? That's called bigotry. It's bigots. Bigotry. People that practice things, go see a root worker, they'll go see a diviner, and then get around another group of people and call it all evil. Those are hypocrites and bigots because they don't want nobody to know what they're doing. You know what I mean? And to each his own, to each his own. But sometimes in certain environments, this is what you got. This is how people operate. You know what I mean? Like for me, my personal space, and I'll share this thing with you. In my personal space, I'm the bad guy because I practice hoodoo, which is an aboriginal spiritual system. I have family members who like literally follow people on social media that practice African spirituality and voodoo and stuff like that. They follow them, but don't like me behind my spiritual beliefs. That's weird, isn't it? They'll live and die by the words of other people, but I don't know what I'm talking about because there is a disdain for it. And the only way that they can exert or project that energy is by projecting it on me. So as a result, it makes you think like, okay, I have to tune down. You got to shrink yourself in order to be around certain people. That's weird, but it's true. You have to shrink yourself down so you can communicate with them. You have to shrink yourself down so you can coexist with certain people. And that's the truth. Real talk. There's nothing negative there about that. And this just like a warm-up introduction video into what I'm about to get into. I'm not getting into any drama. I'm talking about the origin stories. I know I kind of got off topic or whatnot, but I'm talking about the origin stories of how I became the medicine man. I think where I'm at now, I'm probably the most hated root worker here. And yet I still choose love over hate, peace over war, and because it's important, I think in my 49 years, I haven't made the best choices, best decisions, had to defend myself and, kind of under the one-man army thing and protect yourself from toxic and dangerous people, of course, twisted narratives, truth mixed with lies. And I'm not ashamed of anything. Why would I be ashamed of my experiences? Those are my experiences. That's what made me who I am. So I ain't about to be ashamed of nothing I've been through, but don't lie on me. You know what I mean? Like straight up, don't lie. Because if you lie, then I'm going to be forced to come and tell the truth because you got to protect your name and reputation. And there's some people out here that would spend decades of lying on you or misrepresenting the facts of what they think they know about you to everybody. Some receipts and fake receipts, mix it all up together and just create a bunch of mess for what? Because they want to see how you come and clean it up. Well, some people say, I don't care what people think about me, and I'm not like that. I do care what people think. Because there are some things that can be said that can offend so many people. I am not an offender of other people's energy. My whole idea of coming on social media and helping people with my experiences is to blend in and cooperate in the upliftment of humanity. That's what it's always been about. Doesn't mean you're a perfect person, but the come as you are perspective is real. I'm gonna come as I am. I'm gonna let you know, like, yeah, I'm raw, and I'm authentic. And if you ask me something, I will tell you. Simple. I'm very communicative. I don't get offended. Like Marcus asked me, Well, he didn't ask me. He made a blatant statement. But see, the thing about that, I know where he got that from. You see what I'm saying? Now, it shows that he's a host for an energy that never came to me. You see what I'm saying? There's people that know me personally that know my life story because I told it to them, not because so and so say and such say and look at us, y'all. See y'all look like don't do that, man. That's childish behavior, nonsense. At 49 years old, 50 years old, you got people running around with childish nonsense instead of getting to the truth or the facts of the matter. So as life go on, we have old children running around, I guess trying to get clout or whatever they're trying to do. I mean, it is what it is. I don't care. What I do care about is my perception that I choose to put out, my perception and representing my name and my reputation and my character. I haven't been through all peaches and cream in life. I haven't. Everything ain't peaches and cream. No. You know, there's a lot of things happen. And social media is one of those places, man, where, I'll be honest with you guys, social media is one of those places where, you know, there's various people. And yeah, you got to watch what you say to people on social media. Definitely. You should. In the past, I haven't been very good at that. And so, because certain people attacked me and, you know, it was fighting and carrying on, exchanging of words, and it got personal when people started to do things like wiretap your phone and try to see what you're doing, calling people and bribing people to set you up type thing. Now that's a different story, because when you sign up to backdoor somebody, you need to know what you're signing up for, because that's extremely dangerous. And I don't recommend that for nobody. I'll tell you in a minute, man, don't never sign up to backdoor anyone. It's not right. It's morally corrupt. Don't do that. Because the person or the people that have the problem with you should be able to come to you to address it themselves, instead of paying, especially men that pay women to do things like that. That's extremely distasteful, because when you sign up to backdoor somebody like that, it's very dangerous. Suppose that person finds out. Suppose that person peeps and looks around and says, oh, this is what's happening. You know, people can get into psychotic rage at that point, and, you know, you get innocent people or a participant in the backdooring can get hurt or killed. And then the crazy part about it is that the people that pay that person, they run off and get away. Now you got one person going to jail and you got another person hurt. You see how that works? One person in jail and another person hurt. All because of what? Some money? Man, people that do anything for money is dangerous. They're dangerous. They're dangerous, yo. Very dangerous. So, you know, keep that in mind. Those are just a preview of where I'm gonna go with this, because it needs to be expressed, I think, for the most part. You know, I've been dealing with the smear campaigns and the lying and stuff like that. Man, I hate to call people name over social media, but I'm not going to do that this time. I think conflict resolution is the best resort, and being extremely clear, because people are afraid to get on the phone and call you. Got to be. They got to be. You know what I mean? Or they're just looking for some kind of form of entertainment. And you know, that's okay. That's okay. You know, you want to entertain yourself with taking the traumas of people and situations and exploiting it. Totally understood. Do what you need to do. Just don't lie on people. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't fabricate nothing. If you're going to speak what you know. The crazy part is people don't be knowing They just be assuming and operating from setups, because a setup is dangerous. You know, like I say, people will hack your phone, call people you call, bribe them, pay them to come at you in particular ways, and then when you respond, protecting yourself, obviously, you become the bad person. That's dangerous behavior, y'all. And you know, and sometimes it's because we adults, man. Like if you're dealing with a what they call a 304 whore, whatever, or you're dealing with friends or family, they all could be involved. Some can be involved directly, and some could be involved indirectly because of their ignorance. And so when there's people that is ignorant to the extreme truth, then they get offended by what they hear from one side of a story. You know what I mean? So when they get like one side of the story, they get extremely offended from that one side. And then there are other people who already been talking and whispering. They get that version of that story and they figure to themselves, we don't already like this person, or I don't like this person anyway, so I'm gonna attach myself to that story. Cool deal. But this is what people do. This is what they do. And there is nothing, you can't change people. But what you can do is speak up for yourself and defend what's true and hold yourself accountable. Because people that like to hold other people accountable need to be held accountable. You know why? Because if I'm so hardcore ready to hold you accountable, that means I got something to hide. That's the only time people exert that energy, when they got something to hide. They jump in the judge chair, judge the hell out of you publicly. Because you can't shame somebody like myself, because I've been dealt certain cards. I'm not ashamed. That's the world that I came in with these cards. Took the lemon and made some lemonade. You know, it's not that serious. But it is. You know, real talk. It's not that serious, but it is. You know, some of us ain't been dealt great cards in life. For real. Some of us wasn't dealt great cards. Some of us was dealt nothing but deuces, a 5 of clubs, you know what I mean? And we had to improvise. That's all. We had to improvise. And in the process of improvising, there are people that will exploit your experiences. They'll exploit your family. They'll exploit your friends. And if you come from dangerous environments operate like that. Period. They operate like that. You know? And you know, my life story, man, I could make a movie out of it. Real talk. Seriously. I could make a movie. Like if I tell you from A to Z, which I'm not, like, you know, over social media, but I'm gonna write a book about it. But you couldn't believe it. And you probably won't. You said, no, he lying. This ain't true. That ain't happened. This couldn't have happened like that. No, but guess what? It did. It did. And one thing about me, when I learned that I was surrounded by liars, and here's some good advice. When you're surrounded by liars, everybody lying and trying to stretch the truth or try to bend it and manipulate things, here's what you do. You tell the direct truth, uncut and raw. That stops it. It stops it. So when you're surrounded by people that love to lie, that love to control the narrative, tell the direct, hardcore truth. Because that'll stop many tracks. You see what I'm saying? Because especially if they have to whisper it. If they have to whisper it, say it out loud. Heal out loud. You know, that's a thing. You know, but one of the things I really, you know, think about a lot is that exposing my inner truths. elaborating on things in a way that I can help other people grow from it. It's not for clout. You can look at my channel. I don't have 3,000 followers here. You look at my Facebook, I don't have a bunch of followers. I'm not here for millions of followers. I'm not here for that. Real talk. Not even here for all of that. I came to help people heal. And sometimes helping people heal is healing yourself. And with that, I'm going to leave you there. I'll be back tomorrow with another version of this video. Y'all be at peace, man, and blessings.